The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, 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 the Russians. Russian.
Russia, Russia, Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. we will make America wealthy again.
They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of special operations forces.
We will make America proud again.
And watch, please, those mail-in ballots.
We will make America safe again.
And in millions and millions of ballots, their vote is under what they thought they needed.
They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you.
If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. As always on Saturday, I am joined by Chris Paul. Chris, how you doing, sir?
It's another Saturday, John.
We have another Saturday shooting. They keep doing these for
us.
Man.
Yeah. Well, at least they gave us a few hours in advance so that the whole thing could fizzle out. I think it only took like 10 minutes for that thing to fizzle out today.
It was pretty quick. We didn't get like a grainy video of the guy sprinting towards the White House, though.
Yet,
that's true. But we did get a bunch of like reactions from reporters, everybody ducking.
Yeah.
Like they turn around looking what's going on, ducking. It was great stuff. Great cinema.
It is great cinema. And you know that a shooting occurred because we heard sounds and saw video of a reporter ducking.
Plus the decodes, man. The decodes are rolling in.
That's right. Yes.
And what did I hear? It happened it took place on 17th Street.
Yep.
So
well, that's where the shooter was shooting from 17th Street toward the White House. Is that what we're supposed to believe?
Yep. And keep in mind, guys, I am the leading QAnon adjacent figure. So I have all the authority in the world to do what I'm about to do right now is and decode this for everybody. So not only was the 17th Street thing, but also it happened like right after 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Told 6 can be dangerous. And I did a little exercise today. I was like seeing some of the decodes coming in. And so I went through like some of their posts or like old posts, searching the profiles for 6 o'clock. And you probably wouldn't be amazed, but some of you might be amazed at how many times 6 o'clock has been dangerous throughout our lives the last 10 years. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, you shared that. You shared that with me. I didn't know that it was that dangerous. I knew that we were supposed to watch the water, and Trump had been turning all the water back on in the fountains in the parks of Washington, D.C., and he told us to watch it. But I don't think that's what I mean. That thing's been decoded 50 or 100 times, so I'm sure that it's not this.
I hadn't known about the water thing. I forgot about that. I didn't at least equate it to the fountains being cleaned up. But also there's one more that I saw. The shooter's name is like Nazir Best or something, Nazir Best. And so clearly that the best is yet to come was talking about this.
Yeah. And well, now he's come, so we can stop saying
that. We could only hope.
The best has now occurred.
The best has now occurred. That's the new phrase. We need that on a t-shirt. So there's that. We have so much we can talk about tonight. The Tulsi thing, the Iran war. We have people getting mad at other people online because they're disrupting the peace talks. I don't know if you saw Anna Paulina Luna. She's like mad at other senators for tweeting about the peace talks. So we'll maybe talk about that. We got some Israeli propaganda stuff going on. I don't know. It's just it's a weird Saturday, weirder than normal.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching the everyday part of my like routine in the morning when I begin getting into this stuff is that I'll go to CNN.com just to see like what the most normie headline is going to be for the day. And it's just consistently recycled news and just fake news and the worst and dumbest bullshit, like almost every day. It's incredible.
It is incredible.
You know, the shooting we had tonight with the sound on the video and the video of the girl ducking, which is the totality of our evidence in believing that something happened tonight. That is still more evidence than the Ryan Ralph golf course incident. And that incident was reported by the New York Post, who also was the sole source for the claim last night that Iran was coordinating, trying to attempt to assassinate Ivanka.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that story too. That's another good one. I was looking through like New York Times and Washington Post trying to find like somebody must be covering this. Nope, just the New York Post. Did you see? I think it was yesterday or the day before. There was a supposed audio of Thomas Crook's dad that came out.
Is it AI?
It very well could be. Most of the stuff probably is. I don't know what we should do first. Maybe we could look at a couple of videos of the shooting taking place.
Oh yeah.
President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart. No.
So there's that. This is actually the video that Mario Knopfel got called out on by Nikita Bayer. Please do not re-upload the author's video. Use quote or video reshare. Your revenue was reduced by 90% last cycle, and we're running out of room to reduce it more. It's great stuff.
Wait, isn't it weird that they can they're like docking his pay because they don't like that he's doing internet things on the internet? I mean,
yes.
what's more grifty influencer than just taking videos and like re-uploading them like that as though you're the one breaking the news?
Well, think how silly it is. Like people have been making thousands and thousands of Mario Knopfel's probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars to this point, and all he does is take a video that somebody else downloaded,
right,
and shares it, and then he gets reshared by Elon and all these people, and it's just insane.
That's what I'm saying, though. So they've been promoting this guy. This guy's been like the breaking news main account for like 4 years almost, since Elon bought Twitter and took that thing over. I mean, when I got back on there at that point in 2022, and all it was Mario Knopfel and Ian Miles Chong and those guys getting retweeted by Elon. I mean, he created these people in some respect.
Unbelievable. I'm just reading a comment from one of our private chats here, talking about the 6 o'clock thing. There's 2 6 o'clocks per day, 365 days a year. Don't forget about 3 and 9. You get another 2 per day with the anon math. But if you assume the total number of ways you can get to 6, that's got to be like 30 different combinations. So let's say no fewer than 12,045 opportunities per year to call a delta that people will clap for.
That's fantastic.
It's remarkable. I want to write a book and that just be the only thing it says. So good. We have another video. This person, if this was like a real dangerous shooting, this person probably would have died. I don't know if you've seen this video, but
she already looks scared.
Well, I think this is just her face when she's telling the news for whatever news channel she's talking for.
What is that?
Today, but this obviously comes just a couple of weeks after a shooting at the White House Sports Bar.
That's fantastic.
It's so bad. There's more though. I want to find the rest of the videos. I think I saw no less than 10. We'll keep it at a decode. No less than 10 videos of the shooters or the shooting. Here's one.
As you can see, these are various people, I assume news agencies, reporters, producers that are essentially running after hearing those gunfire. Shortly after that, you see various Secret Service agents storm and push people out to safety. Chris, give us a sense of what that moment was like, hearing that possible gunfire and then moving towards the direction that Secret Service was pushing you towards.
Right. So it was, Alex, as soon as we heard the gunshots, everyone kind of just froze. Like,
yeah, we didn't listen to that. And then here's the last one I'll play.
President Trump promises the prices will go down, but his grip on Republican support on Capitol Hill is weakening.
Wow, man. He did he kept doing his script.
Yeah.
It's
Super funny.
weakening.
Well, that's today's shooting. I have info on the dude, I think, from Fox News. Gunman shoots, or sorry, gunshots heard outside White House. Male suspect taken down by Secret Service. That's bold to like already come out with the gender. We haven't confirmed any of that yet.
Yeah, and we haven't asked him on about his opinion of what gender he is.
That's true. We haven't seen the manifesto yet. Male suspect identified as Nazir Best of Maryland, fatally shot. An adult civilian bystander was also shot during the gunfire exchange, and one Secret Service agent was taken to the hospital as a precaution. Best had prior encounters with the U.S. Secret Service on at least 2 occasions in 2025 and a history of mental health issues. The FBI, ATF, and Metropolitan Police Department are assisting with the ongoing investigation. I wonder if we're going to get another like social media campaign for the ballroom after this too. Because I feel like that's what comes after every shooting now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we follow that coordinated messaging, all those people who like the Nick Sorters and those guys who all have the right story right away. I don't know this to be true in the specifics here, but did you see that Elon's like influencer baby mama was doing more videos this week where she puts on makeup and tells us what's secretly happening on Twitter, which is the thing that like people, me for instance, have been saying for years about what's happening on Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen that. Those are great. To get ready with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she had another one of those, and it was disclosing that Elon
stole the election or whatever.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. But all those influencers that all come out with the same message every single time, and the meaning of the event that they don't even know is real. They're just certain that it is real, so they start figuring out what the takeaway of it being real is. And then you get a few levels deep in the opinion battle, and everybody forgets about the fact that no one actually knows that anything happened in the first place.
Yeah, I love when I see those Get Ready With Me videos on Twitter, because she's normally dishing on people that I also hate, like all the people she used to run with, Con Inc., DC Drano, Anna Polina Luna, like the amount of makeup girls put on, like the fact that you can put together an entire 10-minute video just putting on makeup, that's insane. But did you see today she had videos up with her and Hassan Piker?
No, I did not see that.
You did not? Okay, well, we gotta look at these, because there's also news that Hassan Piker has been subpoenaed, as well as Medea Benjamin, over their trips to Cuba. I don't know if you saw this. Investigation part of a broader dragnet involving as many as 40 American citizens who joined Marxist convoy to Havana. But anyway, here is there's 2 videos I want to show. One of them's a little longer, but she's talking about, like, she's reading tweets between her and Elon.
Read the text.
Sure. Why not?
Here. I'm not making this space laser shit up. And everyone's like, oh my God, she sounds so crazy. I'm like, well, this is
what?
Isn't he like a huge influencer or something?
I think he's a left. I mean, I just know he's a leftist.
I am under the impression that he's like a big influencer with tons of followers, right?
He's an American Twitch streamer, influencer, and left-wing political commentator. The fact he has like a Wikipedia page calling him an influencer, he must be pretty big.
Yeah,
no
and
idea
Young Turks is the Cenk Uygur thing. Oh, Cenk Uygur is his uncle, it says.
No.
Yeah. Go back up to his bio area. Relatives.
Wow. That explains a lot. One of my favorite Cenk Uygur videos is the one where he's like, it's not bestiality if a woman is pleasuring a horse or something. Like, Oh, so retarded. Anyway,
I thought that was like literally what that word means. Maybe I'm wrong.
Have you not seen?
Maybe Cenk's just got different standards. I think I remember the clip. I don't remember like the specifics of it, but I definitely am aware of that clip.
Hold on. How do you spell bestiality?
Not the way it sounds. Just best.
I know I have this video somewhere. Because I've shared this multiple times. Oh, yep, here we go. 37 seconds long. We'll do this and then we'll get into his nephew.
I believe that I am going, if I were the the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are giving, where you are pleasuring the animal. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Now why? Why did that happen? It's the dumbest thing I've said.
It really is the dumbest thing you've said.
No, I'll tell you why. Because so there's was the case that we covered where there was a guy or a girl or something that was pleasuring a horse, and the horse came to a conclusion, right? So who got harmed?
We all did by that opinion, Sank. We all did. Okay, here's the rest of this video. Again, two of them. One's shorter than the other.
I don't know what to tell you guys. On iMessage of all places.
Well, I don't think, Apple is going to,
okay, but don't read my pick me stuff.
Okay, it's fairly.
Because I was being pick me. Okay, wait. This was October 5th, 2024.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, you tell me.
Wait, why does he actually talks like this?
Yes, he actually talks like this. And I wasn't being hyperbolic when I said
Can I read this one?
Yes, you can read the whole thing.
Okay.
You can read anything except my pick me.
Okay, I'm feeling more optimistic after tonight. And tomorrow we unleash the anomaly in the Matrix. And then
he's reading the tweets or the messages about the space or whatever, the SpaceX.
His 10,000 Jewish space lasers that stole the election.
Yes.
This is not something on the chessboard, so they will be quite surprised. In air quotes, lasers from space. What? And you made a joke.
It was a Marjorie Taylor Greene joke.
Yeah, you made a Jewish space laser joke.
Is it finally a focus on the Jewish vote?
And he laughed at it. And then I have over 10,000 lasers in space right now.
So he doubles down and says, and quantifies his number of space lasers.
I'm reading your text messages back.
But I was like, I don't want to be deposed.
Oh God, you literally sound like him. You changed the way you talk.
Okay, we can skip the rest of that one. This is the
That's so embarrassing what they're doing right now.
Oh, it is.
It's like so see-through and like they're just trying to inflate her social media presence through this leftist. Although, to tell you the truth, man, Cenk Uygur is his uncle and part of the same circle that's always running this kind of bullshit on Twitter. Yeah. They're more in like the Piers Morgan side of things and Stephen A. Smith and that whole conglomerate.
Yeah, well, the reason they're inflating her image, I'm assuming, is because she's like turned against all the big influencers from the conservative side or whatever. But also, speaking of Cenk Uygur, wasn't it Charlie Kirk who brought him out and did like a one-on-one at a TPUSA event?
That would not surprise me in the least.
I'll look that up here while we're watching this.
This is a hoodie.
You got me a hoodie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put this down here.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's gonna be in this hoodie? This is gonna be. Let's see.
You ready? Are you ready, chat?
Oh God. Oh no. I'm not even gonna see it first. Chat's gonna see it before I do.
I've been sent by Benjamin Netanyahu to get his Twitter account banned.
This is
so
Who
weird.
finds this entertaining?
No idea. No idea.
These people are awful, and not because I care about their political opinions. They're just clearly faking their personalities.
100%. But yes, he did. Cenk Uygur did go to America Fest, and I want to say, when was this? I want to say it was just last year. It was 1 year ago, December of 2024. Here's that. Anyway,
it's weird. It's like they're controlled opposition or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why we went down that rabbit hole, but whatever. We should probably have this. Let's get to a couple sponsors, and then I'll let you pick whether you want to talk Tulsi or Iran first. I'll bestow that decision upon you.
We can circle back to the shooting thing and get all the way through segueing all those subjects.
Okay. We can certainly try to do that anyway. First up tonight, we got love litters. Are you tired of heavy, dusty, smelly cat litter that tracks everywhere and fills your house with odor? Discover Love Litters, the long-lasting wood-based litter made from pure kiln-dried wood with no chemicals or additives. It's eco-friendly, repurposing wood that would otherwise go to the landfill. And here's why it's so great. It completely neutralizes cat urine odor. You just scoop the solids daily, flush them, and the urine simply evaporates with zero smell. A single 45-pound box can last one cat 6 to 9 months when used at about an inch deep, and it turns into fine sawdust over time, so there's minimal tracking and less mess to clean. Do you have birds? Love Litters is aggressively absorbent. It dries droppings instantly to prevent mold and dissolves harmlessly if your bird nibbles it. Plus, it works wonderfully for ferrets, rabbits, reptiles, and more. Customers who switch from clay litter say they'll never go back, loving the fresh pine scent, ease of use, and how clean their homes stay. So if you're ready to kick the clay habit for good, head to badlandsmedia.tv/litter for free shipping and try Love Litters. Your pets and your nose will thank you. That's badlandsmedia.tv/litter. I can vouch for it. I did an interview with him, America First Stories, a couple of weeks ago, and he sent me a couple of these, and we're about to make the switch. At least I'm hoping we are. We have the bag, so it's going to happen soon. And then I'll be doing firsthand experience reviews on that very soon.
All right.
One more sponsor, and then we'll take a break. We have 2 more sponsors later, so don't let me forget those, Chris.
I will never let you forget.
Frequency Apps. Everything must go at Frequency Apps. This is your chance to stock up before inventory is gone. Frequency Apps created easy-to-apply wellness patches designed for everyday support with no messy creams, complicated routines, or harsh ingredients. Simply apply a patch and enjoy around-the-clock convenience wherever life takes you. Choose from over 50 patch options for support with weight management, stress, discomfort, sleep focus, hormone balance, immune support, and more. Whether you're trying Frequency Apps for the first time or grabbing your favorites before they're gone, now is the time to save. During this liquidation event, Frequency Apps is giving our audience a 15-day supply completely free. That's right, you'll get a full 45 days of relief for the price of just 30 days, so don't wait. Shop the liquidation sale now and grab your favorites before they disappear. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/patches today. No coupon code needed. Simple, safe, and natural. Start your journey to better health now. The offer excludes ACG, GLP-1, and Plastigon patches. Thank you to Frequency Apps. Good to have you back in the mix. CC in the chat. It's going to happen. CC takes care of it. Yeah. I don't want to like overpromise something that I'm not and have no intention of delivering on. It requires somebody else to deliver on. But okay, shooting. What do you want to say about it?
Okay, so I'm always interested with the fact that the Secret Service is so heavily involved in setting the story for these events. And there would not be a story if not for the Secret Service. And so I dig on the Secret Service occasionally. And I think it's very interesting, first of all, that they were brought under DHS in 2003 because of the DHS conversations that we've had over the past year about the, anti-constitutionality of the existence of DHS in the first place, of whether or not it will be funded and it will continue on into the future. Some of the functions of the DHS, the fact that part of Trump's project has to be dismantling some of the apparatus that was built up after 9/11 in the George W. Bush period with the Patriot Act and the rest of it. The DHS, as far as I'm concerned, is the embedding of the global security state inside the American government in a way that operates with a degree of independence that the founders would have never approved of. Like none of this shit should exist. And so I started looking more deeply at the history of the Secret Service, and the Secret Service came into being in 1865. Abraham Lincoln was essentially instituting a new federal money system. The states had their own currencies. They were decentralized to the states, and the federal government, and this is just another aspect of the Civil War and Reconstruction, was that they were taking over and nationalizing everything. And one of those things, of course, would be the currency, so that the federal government can have control over that. And the 14th Amendment gave them the ability to have insight into all personal transactions, all business transactions, so they could ensure that there's no slavery anywhere. And so there's and the National Bank Act was part of the nationalization of banking during that Civil War period, and then in through the Reconstruction. And the Secret Service's job was to investigate and prevent counterfeiting. At one point, they thought like a third of all the money in circulation was fake money, fake federal notes. And they had to resolve the counterfeit problem because they had to make sure that the federal government's paper money policy and the process, this new process that they had kind of thrust upon all the states in the Reconstruction, that will go successfully. So that's what the Secret Service was stood up for. It was basically like, we are rejoining the global banking regime by setting up this central bank and federalizing and nationalizing all of our fiscal policy and all the currency policy. And everybody has to use this currency. We're going to make sure that nobody is using fake currency. And I would imagine that also counts as other currency. And so that's what the Secret Service was. And it kind of took on the presidential security role much later on.
I did not know that. I feel like I may have heard that before, but I completely forgot about that. They were created to go after counterfeiters and like protect the financial system.
Yeah, 1865.
When did they switch over to security purposes for the president, and what caused the switch, and who was securing the president before that?
That is a good question. I did not look up the last question that you just asked, who was securing the president before that. But they began, I think, doing presidential security, if I recall. Hold on, let me go back and check, because I don't want to. I know I have it here, so there's no point in guessing or speculating. Wait, let me see. I thought this came up, but there was an assassination attempt or an assassination. Oh, damn it. Hold on.
Before the creation of
the wrong thing.
The Secret Service, presidential protection was informal, inconsistent, and handled by a mix of local police, military aides, private bodyguards, political allies, and occasionally federal troops.
Yeah. Okay. And then
the founders generally disliked the image of a heavily guarded executive because it resembled monarchy.
I don't know where I lost this thread to, but yeah, so that whole thing, that backstory of the Secret Service, and then they became the security for the president, and then they shifted from Treasury into the Department of Homeland Security. And, if we were to just trust the names of all these departments and agencies, well, the Secret Service that protects the president, that sounds like it's right in Department of Homeland Security rather than under Treasury, if Treasury is doing all the currency stuff now and the rest of it. But I don't trust anything that was put under DHS in that post 9/11 period.
Yeah.
That to me was, there have been these periods. Civil War obviously is one of them. World War II, post World War II, the Civil Rights era. There's these, and obviously when they started the Fed, of course, these different periods in American history where it is clear, at least to me, that the constitutional form of the founders was over time chipped away. And then there were these big incidents where they just pulled major parts of it apart. And with the chaos that was happening in the country, no one really understood what they were doing, and that they were inverting the constitutional form and the Republican form that the founders promised or intended, or whatever happened back then. But at least insofar as we are told, that's what happened. There are these periods where that happened in large part. And that post 9/11 period, I think, is one of the huge ones. And if Trump is doing what I believe him to be doing, dismantling that thing and getting rid of it is part of that. And of course, the Office of Director of National Intelligence was stood up in that same period. And for a particular reason, it was so that they could essentially get all of the intelligence from all of the agencies centralized, but not under the executive office of the president. And so instead, they're basically interfacing most often with the Congress, briefing the intelligence committees and the rest of it. And it's like every bit of intelligence that is under presidential oversight, the DNI has insight into that, but that kind of doesn't work both ways, right? So they get everybody's information. Nobody gets their information.
Yeah.
And they're not under the executive office of the president, interfacing most of the time with Congress and accountable. The oversight is also to the Congress. And so I just, that is one of those forms. If you wanted to, if you thought, okay, we have the legislature, the Congress, both houses, pretty well under control of the global regime, and you were taking another big chunk out of America, the sovereign nation, and making it America the leading power of the one world global order. Well, keeping all of the intelligence of the American government in a body that you had more access to from that perspective, I think would be a major coup. And that's why they do these sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, everything you said there, it made me think of my favorite clip. I won't even play it, but it's the one where Trump says, you know, this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been conducting illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people. That's all these intelligence agencies that is overseen by the DNI. Like all we hear about these days is like how the CIA or the FBI and like they did all these wrongdoings, and we get stories, especially recently, of people still embedded in these intelligence agencies that are still like trying to subvert and undermine Trump's agenda and what he's doing.
Yep.
Like we had a bunch of big stories about that the last couple of weeks. And so if that's the case, and like the DNI is the one overseeing all of that, isn't like that a problem? Like, isn't that a concern, especially if, you know, with what you said in your approach about it being potentially unconstitutional and definitely against what the founders intended?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Like there's that's a position of power where they can do a lot of bullshit, and they have done a lot of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still of the mindset, going back to, you know, we've been talking about this for a long time. We need to start from scratch or dismantle all the intel agencies. They've shown to me, and maybe this isn't the answer, but in lieu of a better one, you know, I don't see why we need these agencies. At least start from scratch, do it better. But we've transitioned a lot. A lot of people who would have agreed with that back in 2023, 2024, I feel like they no longer agree with that, and they cheerlead this stuff.
Yeah.
And like hence the DNI Gabbard. Like, yeah, she was in there. Maybe she did some good things. I don't know. Now she's gone. We're going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of cheerleading going on, and from people who wanted to destroy it, who are now defending the intel agencies again. And that's just so weird to see people defend the institutions.
Yeah, and a lot of people suggesting new nominees for DNI, and
yeah,
that's fine. We can have that conversation. But why would we want that office to continue?
Yeah, we shouldn't.
It's existed for 20 years. It's clear that we don't need it. Now, Tulsi might have been in there doing great things and having access to all of that information, stuff that she could get and bring to the public. And people could argue that she has done that. I don't have any problem with her. I just also don't care. I'm not one of these people who like became a Tulsi Gabbard fan from when she would sit in for Tucker Carlson. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
And so I want to know why we would want this office to continue. So maybe she got all this information and she was the person in there to finally clean this place up so we can shut it down. She got what she needed to. She finished her mission, and that's all good. And we can thank her for that. Maybe that's the truth. That's fine. Okay. I'm not like going to tell you that's not the way it is, but at the same time, the office shouldn't exist at all. And there's some indication, at least, with a lot of the things that Trump is doing, and we can talk about the way that he seems to regard the Senate and the House, that a lot of the government structure that has been subject to this infiltration, that is part of the deep state, that is one of the tools, part of the deep state apparatus, let's say, that stuff exists in an entirely different domain than Donald Trump does, constitutionally, in terms of authority in the government, and in terms of how I think of them. I think of them as separate entities. It's not the Trump administration, Trump and his administration, all the same thing. It's Trump and then the administration and Congress and the Senate and the deep state and the agencies. You know, those are all separate, and they don't get to fall under his, like, the benefit of the doubt that we give him does not need to be extended to them. And I don't think he wants us to extend it to them. I don't think that he would think that's a responsible way for the American people to approach their relationship with the federal government. And so, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I did the game of who do we think is going to be in there, because that's one thing I learned from Trump is, even though we talk, and I believe we're right about none of these agencies should be existing, we've had this similar conversation about many different things, but Trump continues to operate within that realm. And so like today I was posting, it's who I would love to see there is like an Ezra. It's pretty much a devil player. Ratcliffe, Grinnell would be sweet in there, I think. There was one more. I don't remember who. Let me see if I can find. Oh, Nunez. I think Nunez would be an interesting one, just because he just left True Social.
Sure.
But then the storm has arrived. I don't remember what he said, but he's like, it's probably gonna be none of these people. I was like, yeah, watch it be Laura Ingraham or something, some like another Fox News host come in, because that's probably what's gonna end up happening. Right now, the replacement is that deputy, the principal deputy, who's a CIA agent. He's literally a former CIA agent.
Yeah.
Active, probably.
I mean, are we going to just have an acting for a while?
Maybe. You have acting, what AG or whatever, Blanche?
Yep. He said that, Trump at the beginning of the term said that the Department of Education was going to be taken apart. I mean, there's still a Department of Education, or at least we are led to believe. Some of this stuff I think is going to be more apparent, I should say, in the future. One other thing, though, while we're on the conversation, the topic of those agencies, I was thinking, like, if we didn't have all of these federal law enforcement agencies, well, what would the federal law enforcement be? Well, first of all, there shouldn't be massive bodies of federal criminal law. The states can take care of criminal law within the states. Like if there's a murder, the state authorities take care of that. They found ways over the last however many decades to begin federalizing even these sorts of crimes, but we don't need these massive sprawling bodies of federal law. And so we shouldn't need so much federal law enforcement. And then I was thinking about posse comitatus, because I was like, well, could the military just do all of the federal law enforcement? And then I remember the posse comitatus conversation that we had about Trump sending the National Guard or the military into California or into Illinois. And I was thinking, man, so posse comitatus tells us that the enforcement body under the president's exclusive control can't be put in all of these different scenarios to enforce law within the states. But if Congress stands up 90 different armed investigatory law enforcement agencies, they can enforce the law wherever they want. They can even enforce agency regulations as though they are enforcing law and mete out the punishment. So it's like posse comitatus is de facto violated by the entire law enforcement apparatus of the federal government every single day. And the idea that we're going to argue in favor of it because if it goes away for the military, then all of a sudden we live in like a dystopian dictatorship. Well, I think we've missed that boat.
Why can't the military be used more readily with, like, why is the Posse Comitatus Act even necessary? Do you know what the original intention of it was?
I am not well versed in that history. I think it was based in the fears of a standing army, which many of the founders did not want, by the way. Go ahead. Were you about to say?
I'm just looking it up too. The original intention of the Posse Comitatus Act, passed in 1878 after the Civil War, was to prohibit the use of the U.S. Army and later the Air Force as a domestic police force, thereby reinforcing civilian control over law enforcement and limiting federal military interference in ordinary civil affairs. The act aimed to stop the routine deployment of federal troops to execute the laws inside the United States, such as making arrests, conducting searches, or intervening in local elections. I feel like that one was added in there fairly recently. Unless explicitly authorized by the Constitution or by an act of Congress, it codified the idea that civilian law enforcement agencies, not the military, should handle domestic order and crime. Came after Reconstruction. So yeah, I mean, I've done quite a bit of research on posse comitatus, but it's more so, like at the Schiff Amendment, where anything done in violation of posse comitatus can be used in legal proceedings, which I thought was super interesting. And there is a DOD directive from back in, I think it was 2019 that they updated it, where they talk about the authorities and when you can use posse comitatus. It's been so long since I've read this, though. Scanning through it right now. So it is. I mean, it's possible, but I think you're right. Do we need any of these federal agencies? If like some of the stuff the military probably could do when needed, they're already there for it. If you just call them in.
Well, yeah, I mean, but part of that is reducing the body of federal criminal law in the first place and sending criminal law enforcement back to the states.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like you have a body here to support the states if they need it.
Exactly. Yes, we're on the same page.
Okay. I'm just scanning through to see if I can see anything specific. Combatant commanders, terrorism.
While you're looking through that, I'll just say, one of my kind of macro theories is the idea that Trump is actually returning us to the governmental form that the founders would have intended, and that we are fully post-constitutional at this point. I mean, I would argue that the Constitution was totally overthrown after the Civil War. And it's not just me making that argument, by the way. George P. Fletcher, I've talked about this book many times, Our Secret Constitution. He's a liberal, globalist, Zionist, university professor at Columbia University. He teaches constitutional law at Columbia University. So he is what would be routinely called an expert and authority on this subject. And he argues that the Civil War was fought specifically to invert the Constitution. And he's happy about it, by the way, because he believed that the Constitution before was racist. And now the Constitution has solved racism, or the Reconstruction has solved racism and enabled the moves that came after that to solve racism. And so I think that all of that has to be undone if we are going to go back to the original constitutional form. And I think that everyone in the audience would agree. I would guess that you would agree. We were not raised with the understanding that the operative law of the land was something different than what the founders had intended. In fact, we were raised to believe that everything in the Constitution, as it stands now, was a product of what the founders intended, and that we have never steered off course from what the founders intended at any point, because every change to the Constitution was done through the proper amendment process, except it wasn't done through the proper amendment process. And you can go back and look at any of the amendments starting at number 13. I would argue you go back earlier. And that the 13th Amendment as it exists now was not even the original 13th Amendment. But at that point, they literally passed the Reconstruction Amendments by taking the military into state governing bodies and either replacing their state governments or just forcing them at the tip of a bayonet to ratify the constitutional amendments. So all that stuff has to be done away with. And so I don't get why people, quote unquote, on our side are trying to preserve these institutions when it is clear that Trump is delegitimizing the institutions before all our eyes, and that the best possible thing is for them to go away. It's not for us to cheer on whoever Trump puts in position to lead these agencies and then be like, oh, good, you've made marginal changes that are sure to benefit the American people. No, abolish them all.
Totally agree. And I want to get into what you said in our text earlier about like letting the air out of the balloon on the D-class stuff, because I think that's really interesting. But what you said there, the way they passed these laws was bringing the military in and like forcing the states to do it. Mm-hmm. But then like in 1878, they put in place the Posse Comitatus Act.
Yeah.
What they did with the military to get the states to pass all those laws would have later violated the Posse Comitatus Act, if you think about it. So it's like, we're going to do this now, but we promise we won't do it again. Here's the law you can put in place to do it. That is interesting to me.
But of course, we're talking about the belligerents in the secessionist states.
For sure.
So then it was totally warranted. And of course, you know, all of this, they had to get that federal money policy in.
Yeah, it's also ridiculous. And that kind of conversation of like us growing up on thinking everything, you know, was done through the right process and so everything's constitutional downstream of it anyway. Nobody's ready for that conversation. Like, we're sitting here trying to argue about gas prices and the war stuff and like stupid memes on the internet, whether somebody's wearing a mask or not. We're never going to get to the part of the conversation where we discuss stuff like that about going back to a more original form of the Constitution. So while I'm glad we talk about it and that people in our audience are familiar with those discussions, I don't know how we break that out into a wider audience. They're not ready for it just because they're retarded.
Well, yeah, I halfway agree with you. I understand the commentary is primarily about the information environment and the way people are forming beliefs. I totally get all that. I think that part of that is that people don't have these political conversations and instead are focused on that stuff. If we focus more, and I don't mean if we as Badlands, I mean if we in the broader public focus more on this stuff, and it's said to the liberal at the barbecue, like, hey, I get it that you don't like the government. We have different things that we think the government should be doing in the first place. But, part of the problem, part of the reason that the government doesn't work for you and it doesn't work for me is because the form of the government has been changed by a whole bunch of corrupt people who are in office now. And virtually everybody wants to solve those problems when they are presented that way. Like, I don't have, if I win the conversation about the illegitimacy of the government, the abomination that it currently is in its the form it's in now, and how the founders would have never intended that. Like, that's not something that a liberal is going to get mad at me for. Like, I think that these conversations are actually far more unifying than they are divisive. And I think that that's why so much of our attention is focused on the other stuff, because we have been conditioned to believe that people with different political opinions are our enemies, and that the way we should save ourselves is the same way that they should save themselves. And that's by giving more power to the people who run the political system. It's just like, but it's our guys in there and they're saying the same thing. And so that dynamic lasts for as long as the controlled opposition still confuses people.
Yeah, I know. We did a power hour, me and Burning Bright, a while back, where we were talking about right now would be like, there's so many things that we could actually have in common with the people on the other side of the aisle right now. Like, hey, we want a smaller government. We want to get rid of all these agencies. We want a tax revolt. Like, we don't want to be paying taxes. Those people should be able to get on board with a lot of those things if you actually present them that argument in a logical way. So I think you're right, but I don't know how the carrots that are dangled in front of the people on social media, it's such a distraction. It's taking people away from these conversations, but it's also the only way to reach those people. So it's like a catch-22 almost.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is the only way to reach them. I don't know. I think that primarily Badlands is not different than the American public, but just maybe ahead on some of this stuff, because we had a different set of experiences in that post-2020 period. It's different when you get banned. It's different when you have to go to like non-legacy social media platforms and try to engage an audience, have the conversation, look at people's feedback, and actually be responsive to feedback. Man, one thing that Badlands has done that other media organizations don't do at all is be truly responsive to feedback. And the big influencer accounts, they're not responsive to feedback. None of it means anything. They're posting to get paid. They're engaged in coordinated messaging campaigns. They don't care to hear what the American people think about their ideas. They're not paying attention to any of that shit. I think that the people are actually much further along than the media cycle gives them credit for, but we're also still so stressed out about all this shit that it's like we need that drip every day of the social media hit to tell us what's going on in politics, who's going to save us, who's going to fix this problem or that problem, so we can put all our force online behind them. I think that these are problems we've been conditioned into, and we can simply disbelieve our way out of them.
We have a comment from Facebook here. Steve Claybaugh says, remember, the Constitution was written and created by the states. States are talking to the feds. They're not talking to the states in most circumstances. By the way, Chris is getting really good with his understanding. Awesome.
Steve Claybaugh has given me a great deal of feedback on my constitutional positions over the years. He studies the Constitution like few people I know.
Yeah, well, that's good, and I agree. You're finally coming around and getting good at this stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Real quick, we got to get a word in from a couple more sponsors, and then I want to have the conversation about Tulsi. She's leaving. What you said about her and the D-class stuff, I think is going to be really interesting. So we're going to get there, but first, quick word from Soft Disclosure, guys. 2 more days of the Memorial 15 Memorial Day sale. Softdisclosure.com.
Today we remember those who gave everything. And memory is never still.
This Memorial Day! One hero, one mission to deliver softness to America!
No, Chi-Chi, we can't stop for snacks, dude. We have to deliver all of these Soft Disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zach Kane.
The motion detector!
Hey, stop fighting over the beard brush.
Life finds a way.
Hydrate your elbows, moisturize your soul. Feel the rhythm together. You feel alive and let the lotion roll. Soft disclosure, hear the cry. Maximum softness, do or die.
Muffin, hit it.
Softdisclosure.com. Use promo code Memorial15 for 15% off your order. And we also got a quick word from Rumble Wallet. I can get this pulled up here. Here we go. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you can actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you are in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you've felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels rather complicated. That's exactly why we use Rumble Wallet. It takes all the complexity, makes it super simple. You choose what you want, Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even a digital gold backed by real gold. There's no complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. And once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like us here at Badlands directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description, and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Thank you to Rumble Wallet and Rumble Studio. All right, we got this news this week. I think it was just Friday. It was Friday. This broke during my show. We ended up designing a meme live. It was awesome. But Tulsi Gabbard is resigning as the director of national intelligence. Her resignation will take effect June 30th. And the story is that it's to support her husband as he battles an extremely rare form of bone cancer. There is a ton of conspiracy theories flying around that she was going to get fired anyway. I don't know. But yeah, it's happening June 30th, 2026. The stories that have come out after this have been she is going to be releasing reports on her investigations into Havana syndrome, COVID, and the 2020 election. And while we were texting back and forth today, you said something really good. And so I wanted you to go ahead and say that really good thing again so we can riff off it a little bit.
I don't actually remember how I said it to you, so I'm going to look that up.
You said she was letting all the air out of the balloons.
Oh, yeah.
The D-class stuff. And I thought it was just because all these topics we already know. We've already gotten to the bottom of this stuff. So what is it that she's doing with, what has she been doing with the D-class and all this stuff?
I don't know. I think it's a limited hangout, but I, at this point, am resigned to understanding we're going to get limited hangout after limited hangout after limited hangout, and it's letting the air out of the disclosure balloon, I think is what I said. And you were like, wait, how is that a good thing? And a lot of people will not agree with me, and they will say it's not a good thing. But I think that the solution to all of this is withholding our belief in all of these scenarios. And if it takes people checking out from these different things that they've been waiting on pins and needles for a decade for, then maybe that's what has to happen, because the enemy's tool is deception and inversion. And they want us to believe the opposite about everything. We keep getting told, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to tell you the truth. That's not happening. Okay. They're not going to do that. And if you know that they are lying pretty much all the time, maybe sometimes they're not, but most of the time they are. The idea is that those deceptions will get us to act in certain ways. And the ways that we end up acting advance their agenda. So they are essentially manipulating us into doing the thing that they want us to do. And they will get us to do that thing. They don't care what it is they tell us that causes us to do that thing. The way we can make sure that we are not serving them by doing that thing is by not adopting any of the beliefs that they encourage us to adopt. And so, you know, we're going to keep getting the hose on all these issues. The Epstein thing has been largely a rug. The UFO thing is a rug after a rug after a rug. And we're going to get a bunch more rugs because people are really strongly invested in that. What?
I said it's an unidentified rug, though. That one.
Yeah. And an unidentified flying rug. You can take it all the way across the Middle East or something.
Amazing.
Yeah, it would be. That's what I think, man. That's the solution. And if this gets us closer to that solution, people's disappointment is, you know, a small price to pay for that.
Yeah. So when you said, you know, she's letting all the air out of the balloon, my question was, I don't think I said, how is it a good thing? I said, what happens when all the air is let out of the balloon?
Oh.
And that's, I think you said something like, I just want people to stop settling for these limited hangouts.
Yes.
It just, I've been thinking about that idea ever since, because all these topics, it's like, and you've said this before, probably many times, like we need permission from some sort of authoritative figure to tell everybody something that we already know. It's the election being stolen and COVID being like fake and gay and like basically used as a pretext to steal the election, like basically fundamental truths at this point. Why do we need a report from Tulsi Gabbard? And by the way, I'm a documents guy. I'm waiting for I want to read the reports. I'm looking forward to it. There might be things that we do learn that we didn't already know, but there also might not be. It could be a hangout where they just give us select information and be like, okay, here's the official story. Now it's done. Like, what happens if that's the case? We're kind of fucked then.
Well, yeah, and I think that this connects right into the idea about the election apparatus being switched over. And again, you know, Great Reset stuff is still going on. People like to just pretend that it's all conquered. And it may well be in really important ways, but it's the machine still rolls forward. You know, like it might never reach its final destination. It might fail before then, but that we haven't reached that point yet. And that's not dooming or blackpilling. It's just saying the job's not done. And part of that job is ours in understanding what the enemy actually looks like and how it operates so that we stop getting deceived and having our lives run by it. And, you know, there's a spiritual level to that kind of comes after that conversation. The other part of this, though, with the timing is that so again, big picture stuff, Trump is separate from the rest of it. If Trump was not in the picture, there would still be a two-sided great reset, like macro script. There would be a plan playing out on the one side and a plan playing out on the other side, because you have to have the controlled opposition to get people to go along with it from both sides. You can't just shove the leftist version of the Great Reset down everybody's throats unless you want to engage a full-on police state with systematic state violence. And maybe we'll get to that point, but hopefully not. And so a lot of the stuff, if Trump was expected to be gone and some other Republican would be president right now instead of Donald Trump, all of the TV characters in his administration who had been groomed for these roles and marketed to us on television to assume these roles before assuming them, that could all still be playing out right now, and it would be playing out on this timeline. So Tulsi Gabbard releasing the ultimate disclosure about the election stuff, and that leading us to pass the SAVE Act and install the new election system so that the midterms will be safe. Like that's not a reach for me at all. Like that seems like it's obviously what's happening.
Yeah, this was Anna Paulina Luna's tweet earlier. I forgot to show it. But this has to do with the Iran thing, and maybe we'll get to that next, but it has the Save America Act in here. The same senators not passing the Save America Act are now sideline quarterbacking a peace deal they are not negotiating and providing commentary with little insight into the actual conversations taking place. I'll take POTUS peace negotiations over the peanut gallery commentary from the Senate any day of the week. Let him cook. So they're painting like the people that are, mad at Trump for potentially negotiating peace as the same people not allowing the SAVE Act to go through. And I don't know if they're at any point going to get that SAVE Act thing through. And if there's a last hope to have it done, it's with whatever report Tulsi Gabbard comes out, right? I'd imagine. It's like, what else is going to be the catalyst for it? John Solomon was the one who's like, when those reports come out, that's going to be what lights a fire under these. It's going to change the conversation. Operation, what do you say, hypersonic clarity or whatever, which was supposed to start a month ago next week. It was 1 more week it'll start, but that was a month ago when he said that. So it's like 3 weeks behind schedule or 4 weeks behind schedule.
Well, maybe
already.
it starts the beginning of June, and she has like a farewell tour, like she's an aging athlete.
Oh yes. Go around to rounds of applause at all the.
Yep.
Maybe she'll come to GART. She should come to GART Deadwood and release the reports then.
Yeah, Steve Bannon said visit the Badlands this summer.
Yeah.
So I am waiting for him to let us know that he is going to come speak at GART because we would love to have him.
Well, you know what? Trump is going to be in North Dakota on July 4th for the opening of the Badlands, the actual Badlands, for the opening of I think is a Theodore Roosevelt Museum in Medora. So how's that that's a
well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And maybe we should spend some more time on Teddy Roosevelt's biography. I've never really spent much time on it.
I haven't either, but I knew he grew up west of here. We should almost go up to Medora when everybody's up for Deadwood. It's awesome up there.
How far a drive is that from Deadwood?
3-ish hours, maybe. You guys could just come and stay a week and a half in the Dakotas and go to the thing with Trump with me.
Yeah. Are you going to go to it?
I'm going to try. Yeah. I don't know if I can get in.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, some people, you can figure it out.
Yeah, I know a few people. I could probably get connected to Bergham's team and see if he can.
There you go.
You know what? And I went to high school with John Hogan's son.
Because his friend Bill Gates owns Badlands or something?
No, I was going to say because Bergham's probably going to be there, Department of the Interior and North Dakota. But my better connection is John Hogan's son. I went to high school with him, so I could probably go through him.
Yeah. Wasn't there some retarded person online?
Oh yeah, the guy. One of our haters back when the lawsuit stuff originally kicked off, put out this whole thing about how Doug Burgum owns Badlands Media, but it's a different so there is a different Badlands Media that Doug Burgum owns, registered in North Dakota, but my Badlands Media is registered in Wyoming because there was already a Badlands Media in North Dakota. But yes, that was funny. Retard. Anyway, I don't know what else I was going to say on the Tulsi thing, but yeah, the limited hangout stuff. That's it's a hard pill for me to swallow sometimes because I am such a documents guy. Like I'm sitting here jonesing for documents always. Like I think the best shows I can even do are the ones when I'm going through documents because those are my favorite things to do. I get most excited about them, but then also at the same time I'm like fully understanding that it's probably not going to get us from point A to point B or even deepen our understanding of anything we don't already know. So, but I am curious to see what happens when they come out.
I think they're valuable in their proper context.
Yeah, maybe. It just depends what it is. Like the Havana syndrome, I could really care less about. I don't even know why are we even digging into that one. Why is she doing a report on that?
Because it's a mystery that hasn't been solved. And so we're going to have all the mysteries solved.
Will we, though? We don't know what the discombobulator is. Is the discombobulator, does that cause Havana syndrome?
Discombobulator causes discombobulation. And beyond that, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, that, the COVID thing, I guess that might be interesting. But yeah, the election one, that's just a rug I can't seem to get off ever.
No, I agree. But the ultimate understanding is not going to come from government. It's going to come from people being like, okay, I've had enough of this. I know that the people around me, no one chose this.
Yeah.
And that's an understanding people could reach any day they wanted. And they don't want to do that because that means that a lot of other parts of life have been misunderstood. And it just so happens that that's true.
I am excited though. I got, so Tim Burchett, his, scheduler guy, I got him in touch with Ash, and Tim Burchett's going to go on Why We Vote, and Ash is going to grill him about the election stuff. So,
well, I hope he brushes up.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. But
that's ballsy of him.
Well, he may not know.
Answer last minute like Patrick Byrne.
Yeah, once they realize what the show is. Oh man. Let's
speaking
talk
of that, by the way. Is the Tulsi release going to push that thing? Because that thing's going to be the story of how elections are stolen so that the SAVE Act can be implemented because that's going to fix the election.
Venezuela thing? The catamaran story?
Yeah.
I'd be surprised.
What if the release is just that thing coming back again?
I mean, that'd be retarded. That'd be a limited hangout.
Yeah.
I know. I'm curious. What if it's not that thing? What happens to all the people who told us Maduro brought us the evidence? And that's not that.
So then we get that op instead, and that's better.
There is no op. That's better. They all suck.
I know.
It's ops all the way down. But yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about Iran a little bit. So first of all, yesterday everybody was like, Trump decides not to go to his son's wedding. Trump seen in the motorcade speeding back to the White House. Same with JD, and everybody's getting called back to the White House for a big, super important meeting. We're clearly going to be bombing Iran or whatever. There was even a video today that came out. I think, did I post that in our group? I think I did. Where somebody was claiming they bombed one of the Khamenei brothers.
Yes. Yeah, the guy that was already injured and potentially gay and potentially impotent is now dead, except he's not dead. Also, no one knows that he was ever alive. So,
yeah, I think it was And We Know who shared it. It was a video. It's like UAE allegedly bombed whatever. I'm trying to find the post here while I'm talking. It's not working well. And We Know. Hold for processing, guys. Because there was a video of an explosion. And if you see a video of an explosion, like how can you deny that the explosion didn't do what they said it did, you know?
Yeah, you just have to make sure that the caption underneath it tells you what happened. Because otherwise the explosion could be anything. But the caption from disclose.tv or Mario Knopfel, that'll let you know.
Oh, I'm so glad he got called out today. Man, I cannot fucking find it. So whatever. But here's one of the videos that was circulating like, oh, we're about to go to war again. It's a proof. But Trump had a big post today, and I'm not going to read any of these.
Get that video.
Well, his name's on it. Clearly, he took this. Just kidding. He totally stole this from somebody, I'm sure.
Well, but what I'm saying is, like, somebody took this video specifically and cut it and released it to influencers like Nick Sorter. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like somebody has access to traffic cameras. Was some independent journalist operating a drone? Because otherwise, this was done to film this specific thing as though it's a scene in a movie. Trump returns to the White House, which means that the war is going down. And then they release that as a coordinated messaging campaign. What the hell is this?
Look how it's phrased. Vice President J.D. Vance has made an unplanned return to Washington, and his motorcade is racing to the White House. President Trump has summoned his whole national security team to a meeting on Iran. POTUS is also scheduled to hold a conference call at 1 p.m. Eastern with the leaders of several Arab nations. It was going down. This is the video that was posted, by the way. Breaking Iran Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei killed in airstrike. With Israeli support, the UAE just launched a devastating airstrike on a high-level Iranian military base, killing the leader on the spot. Oh, look at that.
Oh, he's dead for sure.
Totally. I mean, you could probably even see his body flying out of the wreckage there.
That man who I had never heard of before 2.5 months ago was definitely killed in that building.
Yeah, ridiculous. The amount of fake news flying around is insane. Or the people at least just wanting the clicks. But regardless, we have a post from Trump here, which I'll read through this. This was today at 3:30 p.m. Make sure, decode that, look up the associated drop for the full understanding, but I'll just give you what it says. I'm in the Oval Office at the White House where we just had a very good call with, I'm not going to read these 12 different foreign Arab names, super hard to say. And all things related to a memorandum of understanding pertaining to peace. An agreement has been largely negotiated, subject to finalization between the United. That just made me think of mutilization. So I had to pause there for that.
He said that like 7 times yesterday.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, he just said it over and over again in the speech he made up in New York.
What the hell? Did he talk about the trannies?
Yeah. Mutilization, just over and over, mutilization.
Amazing. Between the United States of America, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and various other countries as listed. Separately, I had a call with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, which likewise went very well. Except I heard there's people saying that it didn't go well and that he was
His
mad.
hair was on fire.
That's true. Which
But that was a few days ago. This is today's call.
Do you think, was it what do they call that thing that goes on the back of the head with the Jews?
The yarmulke?
Yeah. Do you think that caught on fire?
Gosh, I hope not.
And that caused his hair to catch on fire, or was it because he was so mad?
I think that thing is like the blue roof. It like protects you from the space laser, and so that makes sure that your hair doesn't actually catch on fire.
That's crazy. Okay. It protects you from Elon Musk's Jewish 10,000 space lasers.
Yep.
I had no idea. Final aspects and details of the deal are currently being discussed and will be announced shortly. In addition to many other elements of the agreement, the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. Thank you for your attention to this matter. As with every time, there's almost peace, whatever, premature peace. The social media, like half the people are super pissed off about it. Half the people are like, this is the greatest thing ever. Nobody actually knows what's in the peace plan, which is the most hilarious part. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I wonder if one of the reporting things we're getting is like, we're going to give them a bunch of like reparations, essentially. This is just something I saw, not confirmed at all, no idea. But I think it would be funny if it did go down this way. We give them a bunch of reparations in exchange for them saying they're not going to get nukes, which in a sense would be how different from the Iran nuclear deal that Obama negotiated?
I think that's what some of the complaining was today about the potential deal that they think is going to happen, or that already did happen, or whatever.
I think it'd be hilarious if it did. Because of the complaining.
That's twice this week, by the way, that all of the neocons on television and the influencer class thought that war was imminent, and then it turned out not to happen. So that rug getting pulled over and over again is the same sort of deflating the balloon that we were just talking about. I mean, sooner or later, you just check out on this stuff and you realize that the threat of going to war the next day is not a real threat. This stuff is, I don't know how people take the moment to moment reporting about the Iran war seriously.
Yeah, there's been like 3 weeks in a row on the Wednesday Power Hour where Bernie Brett's like, we can talk about the Iran stuff. I'm like, dude, literally nothing has changed with this conflict in months. You could argue at all, like ever. Yeah.
This is just Trump saying huge, massive, overwhelming obliteration is imminent unless we have peace. Thank goodness we are just right on the verge of having peace. And then 3 days later, it's almost like a weekend cycle.
Yeah, it really is.
On Monday or Tuesday, it'll just be back to, okay, sorry. I thought we had peace, but now we got to bomb the shit out of them.
Well, it's not even that. We got to threaten to bomb the shit out of them. And then we're going to get close to bombing the shit out of them, but we didn't know we were about to bomb the shit. We had a scheduled bombing the shit out of them for a Tuesday, but Trump tells us Monday that he canceled it because we were once again on the verge of peace. It is a vicious cycle. It's just when are we going to break out of it?
Never. I mean, when we stop believing the bullshit. I saw a ridiculous post. I don't even remember who would have done this, but it was about how Donald Trump will skip his own son's wedding to do the war stuff. But last weekend, he allowed the Secretary of War to go campaign for Ed Galrain. And, you know, it was a brokenhearted Thomas Massey supporter or something. But he just couldn't believe the irresponsibility. Like the Iran war wasn't going on last weekend when he let the Secretary of War attend a campaign event for a House race.
That's such a good, such a good point. I have the video of him saying this.
It's a good observation about an inconsistency in the story, but the normie who was reporting it did not take it the way you just did.
Well, hold on, let me play this clip because the way he describes his own son here, if this is the part that I'm remembering, it's super funny. He's like, "That's my son. I've known him a long time." Like just like
I thought he said that about the fiance. To be fair.
Oh, did he? Okay, maybe I misheard it.
That's how I heard it.
Let's listen.
He'd like me to go, but it's going to be just a small little private affair, and I'm going to try and make it. I'm in the midst. I said, you know, this is not good timing for me. I have a thing called Iran and other things. That's one I can't win on. If I do attend, I get killed. If I don't attend, I get killed. By the fake news, of course, I'm talking about. No, but he's got a very person who I've known for a long time, and hopefully they're going to have a great marriage.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're just talking about the gal there.
Man, he said, if I go, I get killed. And if I don't go, I get killed. And I'm talking about the fake news, of course. I mean, you got to wonder what the security profile for flying down to the Bahamas for a wedding, how much coordination that takes. I don't know. I don't really think he's in danger, but
I don't know either. But also, I mean,
who knows what story they were going to tell, though? Sorry.
He's just foreshadowing the best is yet to come. Shoot at the White House.
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe they were going to run an assassination plot while he was away at his son's wedding. And so he stayed here to thwart that plot. And then they had the fake version of that plot on camera for these reporters. I don't know.
But also,
that's crazy. Conspiracy theory, but
I keep thinking about the Hegseth thing. That is so ridiculous. Like he went and let him go campaign for Ed Gallery for fraudulent election.
Yeah, but I guess we have a ceasefire going, but
yeah, but still, at the same time, like, can he? So today he did the phone call thing, right? Like with all the leaders. Starlink, man, he's got 10,000 satellites in space, probably more by now. That text from Ashley or whatever, that was back in 2024. He's probably got closer to 11,000 in space. Trump could be on the phone in the air or down in wherever the wedding was.
That's certainly true. Yes. But, you know, in case he needed to bomb the absolute undeniable shit out of them, he would have to be at the White House or at Mar-a-Lago.
No. Yeah.
It's like a hop, skipping and jumping away from the Bahamas or whatever.
He almost exclusively does his shit bombing from Mar-a-Lago.
Yes. And Tulsi and JD and the rest of them stay back in the Situation Room. And again, one of the narratives yesterday after the announcement was that Trump is getting rid of all the voices in the administration that didn't want to go along with the Iran war on Israel's behalf. And again, I think that all of that stuff is so stupid.
Who's saying that?
I just saw that. That was the conversation. One of the reactions, one of the kind of widespread reactions to the Tulsi resignation. Yes.
Interesting.
You know, look, did you see the Laura Loomer post earlier in the week where she said that Tulsi Gabbard is about to leave her position to start preparing to run for president in 2028, and that Roger Stone was going to run her campaign or something?
I actively try not to look at Laura Loomer's posts, but I did see that one.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, One of the
She's
parts
also
of
said
that
she's been saying
turned out
that.
to be right 2 days later. I know.
She's been saying that for like months.
Yes.
And about
Yeah, it's
multiple
like
people.
when
and-
you say that 6 o'clock can be dangerous 1,000 times and somehow keep doing it, and people keep thinking, "Oh yeah, he's probably got it right this time."
12,000 times a year, man. I need to start saying that. Like, I'm just going to start saying that all the time because then I can also be right. A broken clock is right once a year, you know?
Well, you think about the fact that it's 6 o'clock somewhere right now. It's 6 o'clock somewhere all the time.
That's true. And if,
Permanent danger.
oh my gosh, that's so true. Okay, well, let's look at this. How many people die a year? How many people die a day?
Is it always? Can it always be classified as happening at 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's 174,000 people die every day worldwide. That's nuts. How many is that? That's 7,258 per hour. And if
That is 58 9/11s, by the way.
Shit, that is nuts. And but if you think it is 6 o'clock somewhere, that is the 7,000 people dying at 6 o'clock every day. That's real dangerous.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you think about how it's 6 o'clock somewhere all the time. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize how dangerous.
We are in so much danger from 6 o'clock.
I can feel it.
Yeah, I know. Right now, it's about to turn 6 in like Hawaii.
Is that why they call it a 6 o'clock shadow? Because the danger is it's like your shadow; it's always there.
Well,
it's a 5 o'clock shadow, but
yeah, it's 5 o'clock shadow, but it depends on what time zone you're in. So,
well, if you think about it, 5
your
o'clock
5
shadow
is a 6 o'clock shadow on the East Coast.
Yes, true. But also the shadow comes probably before the storm. So the 5 o'clock is the shadow. 6 o'clock is when the danger storm comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, we nailed it. Oh, did you? I didn't even realize this was the belly button press conference.
Yes.
That was insane. I have a couple random tweets I wanted to go through to show you.
It's also, wait a second, hold on. Did that press conference happen on the same day that Barney Frank was announced as dead? And rest in peace, God rest his soul. Barney Frank, of course, is the homosexual from Vermont that, I think it's Vermont or Massachusetts or one of those New England states, that when Trump pointed out him wearing a sweater on the floor of the house, and he said his nipples were poking out. He said,
What?
do you remember that post back in the day where Trump was talking about how disgusting Barney Frank was and that the nipples were protruding everywhere?
Oh my gosh, this?
There it is, yeah.
Barney Frank looked disgusting, nipples protruding in his blue shirt before Congress. Very, very disrespectful.
And so that was on the 20th. So that would have been what, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. And so was that press conference on Wednesday?
I don't know. May 21st. Might have been
Okay, that would have been
Thursday.
Thursday. All right. All right. That just would have been really funny.
I don't remember because I did a whole, I spent a solid 25 minutes during my show, my daily show.
I saw your, yeah.
On the belly button going through that video. You drew a face on it. Like that was so ridiculous.
And with how conscious Trump is of television optics.
Yeah.
Gosh, man.
Had to be on purpose.
Everything is so weird.
Do you remember the video of him with the Trump in the water? Where he's like moving the thing around. Oh, I wonder if I can find this.
Oh, yeah. For the interview, and he was trying to figure out exactly how to make it look on that little table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it quick. Trump. Because this makes your points. It's so true. No, I'm not gonna be able to find this, am I? Damn it. I don't have it saved, but I don't remember what I saved it as, and I didn't save it as glass, water,
Can't
or
you?
Kind of what?
I just figured it would be on YouTube or.
Yeah, I'm looking on Twitter now. Let me Google it. Trump. No, by the time I find it, it's not even be worth showing it.
Yeah.
The moment will have passed.
There is that problem. I think probably most of our audience is familiar with it. But man, it's important to cater to those people who have never seen us before.
Yeah.
And say, hey, welcome in, people. This is what we do.
Oh, I found it. Worth it.
Okay. Beautiful. Oh. I don't think you want to have the water in the picture, right? You can take it off. Yeah. Yeah, put it over there, Nick.
Kind of this table as well.
Yeah, might as well take the table.
How are you?
Oh, good, very good, thank you. You know what you can do, Nick? Put the table back, because it's missing something. Put the table back and put the water on the table without the thing on top of it. Okay. How's that look? Go ahead, take it out. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, good.
Right, let's go.
So good. So then compare that to belly button gate. Crazy. Freaking crazy. All right. A bunch of random posts I want to go through.
Feel weird about how this guy's going to have to live the rest of his life now. I mean, I guess when you have a belly button that is so prominent, everybody's going to know if you wear shirts like that. It's like you can't deny it. So maybe he's proud of it. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's going to know. Did he not know? Or was this like his 15 minutes? Like, did he know that he was going to be at this thing? And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to wear the shirt that is the least flattering to my belly button so that I become a sensation online for a day.
Could be.
So that's what happened.
It is.
He appears to be the least like well-dressed person there. He's wearing a polo. Everybody else is wearing like button downs, maybe a jacket. Had to be intentional. There's no way that's not intentional. Just looks pregnant. Anyway, let's go through these. I thought this was interesting. So there's a post this week from, I think it's Gabby Kuchia. She put it out about, there's this group, Israel. I should just freaking read this one too. Damn it. Can you read this tweet for me while I find this other one?
Yeah. We are aware of multiple foreign influencer campaigns and are actively tracking both the intermediary companies receiving these funds as pass-throughs and the influencers who are failing to disclose their compensation. We need far stricter disclosure laws for foreign influencer marketing ops.
So that came out on the heels of this Gabby Kuchia tweet. It's kind of long. I don't know if I even want to read the whole thing, but it kind of goes through about how she was connected or contacted by this VFT group, and they wanted her to write a script to be used to create an AI generated video on behalf of the White House. If do this on behalf of them because they don't want it to look like it's actually coming from the White House, if you know what I mean. She was given a Dropbox link containing research, polling data, internal comments, and strategy material compiled by VFT and the third party involved. They learned what they actually do. The reports monitor major conservatives and dissident right accounts and frequently frame those accounts as vulnerable to or participating in foreign influence operations. It had information regarding people like Fuentes, Hodge twins, Candace, Tucker, Jackson Hinckley, Ian Carroll, Mario Knopfel, to name a few. Another report, they argued that distrust surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination was mostly due to Americans falling for Russian, Iranian, and Pakistani propaganda networks.
See, that makes me call bullshit on this whole thing.
Yeah.
The
I figured you would.
About the Charlie Kirk thing was due to the Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah.
Period.
Totally agree. I figured you would call bullshit on this, but I wanted to present it because I thought it was interesting that you had her post this, and then like a day later, you have Alex Brushewitz post this, and then right afterwards, we had Una Panuna on the case, and she confirmed what Alex was saying, and she's digging into it.
Weren't these the same people who freaked out at the beginning of the week because the CIA was stealing all of Tulsi's files?
Yep, including Anna Paulina Luna. She
Yeah,
has confirmed this is true, and there are receipts.
Yeah. If this is all a secret white hat psyop to wake up the normies, fine. But otherwise, these people are retarded.
Oh, 100%, man. And I lean that they're much more retarded than
Me
just the
too.
normie thing.
Well, it's also the only responsible thing to do. We can't just go around the rest of our life assuming that everyone with an R next to their name who has said a nice thing about Donald Trump at some point is like lying to us for our own benefit. Like that's absolutely nuts to approach the world that way.
But people do it, man.
Sure do.
Speaking of that CIA thing, so Secretary Kennedy, after my interview with Jeff Earl of the New York Post, we immediately investigated claims he made that the CIA had repossessed JFK files from ODNI. We checked on the veracity of the reporter's assertions and determined the story was false. We promptly informed Mr. Earl that his claims were not credible. The New York Post chose to publish the story anyway. Apparently, it was too good a story to allow facts to get in the way. Now let's see if they correct their story. And then we have Ratcliffe coming out saying, "Thanks, Bobby. We also provided proof this story was false, but they published it anyway. Fortunately for some reporters, are only interested in getting a few clicks rather than reporting the truth. Weird. We've talked about that problem before. Sometimes it's sloppiness, laziness, or the desire to write a predetermined narrative. In this case, it was just an outright lie." And that thing got debunked like almost immediately, yet everybody ran with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like there are coordinated anti-CIA messaging ops happening. And that's like, we're all the way around the bend at that point.
Yeah, that is weird considering, because there's also so many people defending the CIA. This is such a weird story because it has you defending the CIA, which I hate, but it's not, I'm not defending the CIA. I'm defending the truth, I think, at least as far as we know it.
Well, yeah. And that's what we have to try to do. But, they went after John Ratcliffe for being down in Cuba a week or so ago too.
Yeah. The chat
maybe that's the reason they're going off about it.
The chat's still hooked on the belly button thing. We could probably spend the rest of the show talking about it.
I feel like we should not talk about that poor man's belly button any longer, unless he was doing it to make it part of our conversation.
If he didn't want us to talk about it, he should have either had that thing removed, whatever that is, a tumor, or not stood right next to President Trump's ear.
Yeah.
Oh, we also got some UFO files. We can talk about that.
Nice work. That thing's been flying to us since about 20 years ago when the cameras caught that during Austin Powers.
Yeah. Oh, so true.
Wow, look at that thing go. It's just, did Elon launch that?
Yeah, it's probably one of the space lasers. Sorry, I'm going to let you guys watch the penis on the screen while I look for other tweets to show you, if I even have any. And if I don't, we're just going to have to watch this the rest of the show. I might be out. Oh, did you want to talk about the thing that you sent over?
What thing did I send over? Oh, the NATO thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can for a second. We don't have to go too far into it. I thought there were some interesting aspects to it. Let me pull up my...
You got it highlighted?
Yeah, there were... I did a Substack post about it today.
The title of the article, Europe's Secret Plan B to Replace NATO. And the nice thing for them with Trump RX, they can probably get Plan B cheaper now.
Oh, man, what a great joke.
Wasn't that great, but thank you.
Well, it's topical humor that I think will have a very small niche appeal, and sometimes those are the best jokes because not everybody can come up with them.
My favorite jokes are the ones that the least people laugh at, but I find funny, which is most of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to pull yours up or?
Well, I just had well, I could do that, but let's just go down to the summon NATO paragraph. I think it's the third. Yeah. So summon NATO, shocked by Mr. Trump's threat in January to seize Greenland from Denmark, worry not only that America might sit out a war with Russia, but that it could actively thwart other members' responses. The possibility is seen as remote, but interviews with senior officers and defense officials from several NATO countries reveal for the first time how seriously they take the risk. Some European armed forces are making secret plans to fight not just without America's help, but without much of NATO's command and control infrastructure. The Greenland crisis was a wake-up call, says a Swedish defense official. We realized we need a plan B. So America's not only going to assist NATO in a war that might take place with Russia, America might actively thwart their operations, and America not being involved removes their command and control element from NATO. So there's no one that can actually direct the armies of Europe in a coordinated, centralized fashion. So if we're talking about, well, yeah, that was always America's role. And so if we're talking about the breaking apart of the European Union, of NATO, and some of these other international bodies, this has bigger effects than just NATO, because if Europe can't collectively coordinate to defend itself, what business does it have governing Europe? And people in the individual countries in Europe would probably say that the European Union and the European Commission have no business whatsoever in telling them what to do.
Yeah, I think this is interesting too, that they got all this, the entire like, oh yeah, he was gonna not help us fight Russia, but he might thwart it altogether. That came from Trump and the Greenland thing. Like, how did they possibly draw that line? But also, what happened to that Greenland thing? Because that was like viral and coming from Trump all the time, and then he just kind of stopped talking about it.
Well, until yesterday. Did you see his post about Greenland?
Wait, like him looking over the mountains?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kept my eye on you.
He's just peeking over the mountains at their little town. And I guess we're having it displayed to us by the machine that Greenlanders are protesting. They're just taking to the streets. There's like 1,000 of them in an embassy or something, which is, I mean, most of the country, I guess. Hey, look at him.
Yeah, there's like 50,000 people there. What are they protesting exactly?
Donald Trump or something. I don't know. Let's keep going with the article.
Okay.
So next, the question cuts. There you are. The question cuts to the core of the alliance's success. Most military coalitions look like a primary school music practice. Each country turns up, bangs its drum roughly in time with the others, and leaves. NATO, by contrast, was set up as a symphony orchestra controlled by a single conductor, the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe, an American general who also commands America's forces in Europe. To conduct this orchestra, the Supreme Allied Commander has secure communications links to a network of permanent subordinate headquarters, staffed with thousands of personnel ready to respond the moment a war starts. U.S. leadership is the glue that holds the alliance together, says some guy at a neocon think tank. Without them, we would see a fragmentation, probably, of the deterrence ecosystem. And
this is retarded.
Yeah. Well, but this is the world that we have lived in for this long. And again, this is just another instance where they're telling us this whole thing is being blown apart. Trump is the figure behind the blowing apart of this thing. So either Trump is the guy that's hoodwinking everybody to implement the Great Reset, or Trump is actively thwarting the Great Reset. It's only those two options. And this is another example of that. And instead of trying to solve that problem specifically, or to make the consequence either way to nullify that by taking back the country for the people ourselves, instead we are talking about all of the dumbest bullshit about what the illegitimate Congress is doing. And that makes no sense whatsoever. Can you scroll back to that? There's one more thing I wanted to say about that, and I need to see it again just to think of what that thing is. The neocon think tank thing.
Oh, yeah.
I sent you guys another Robert Kagan article the other day from the Atlantic. Yeah. I don't know if you went through it, but
we didn't.
In that, he quotes for war reporting to know the status on the ground in Iran, a neocon think tank where his brother's wife is one of the leading people on the board. So Robert Kagan is one of the leading neocons there is. He and Bill Kristol started the Project for the New American Century. If anyone is the proper target of what Trump is doing, the thing I was just describing, it would be these guys. And so they're losing their minds constantly about Trump. Trump's end game is surrender. He's making that argument. And this is him making that argument for the second week in a row, by the way.
Yeah.
But he goes down I think it's called the Institute for the Study of War. There it is. As the Institute for the Study of War reports, Iran has been using the ceasefire period to normalize its control over the strait by compelling oil importing countries to establish transit agreements with Tehran and charging fees on vessels from nations without such deals. So that information, that is the mainstream understanding of what's happening there, comes from a think tank run by his sister-in-law.
That's a wild. I'm not going to be able to open it because it's an archived link, but that's retarded. That's would we classify that as a circle jerk?
Yeah, I think that would absolutely be classified under circle jerk.
Nailed it.
Yeah, and that's what all of the war reporting on these ridiculous wars is. And again, people are just like, well, you can't say that's not happening. It's like, okay, you're right, I can't, but I don't have to say that the thing the neocon think tank says is happening. Can we just agree to that? That I don't have to say what the enemy is telling us is happening, and you guys believe for some reason that you do?
Well, what if like we're being told a headline like this, where Iran agrees to give up nuclear dust, stockpiled in deal with Trump? Like, there's no way that's a fake headline. There's no way that's bullshit.
Well, I don't know if that, I don't know anything about the reality of that situation, but I do know that the inability to get the nuclear dust, that's like the thing that they're hanging on to resurrect the Iran is pursuing a nuclear weapon story in a year or 2 years or 5 years, whenever people forget. They're like, oh, wow, it turns out Iran has extracted the nuclear dust from under the mountain, and now they're building nukes again. We were just told like 3 days ago that Iran is reconstituting the entirety of their military in like 30 days. Like, oh yeah, they're ready to fight a war again. Trump did obliterate them. That's true. But yeah, they're back now.
Did they like get all of the 157 boats from the ocean too?
Yeah, they brought them all up and they patched up the holes, and now they're C shape again.
Ding, 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 ding. Boom. Boom.
So great. There was one last paragraph of this, just down near the bottom. Such problems might be mitigated if the group brought in Germany, which is enormously increasing its defense budget, and they're trying to figure out like what the plan B would be. For all its downsides, the JEF seems the best solution if European members are unable to take over the existing NATO framework. But Europe will find some form of defense framework to replace the Americans. A deterrent based on someone who may not show up is no deterrent at all. So American backing of NATO is now no longer even good as a deterrent. Europe is totally exposed to whoever wants to take them over.
As they should be. Right now, that is currently illegal immigrants taking them over.
Well, yeah, that's what we're being told. Same story we got told here. Who's bringing the immigrants in? Because everybody's like, oh, it's a Muslim takeover. Is it a Muslim takeover, or is it just the same global slave trade that they have used for 160 plus years to destabilize countries? And like, let's not mistake what these things are. That's what they did. And in the Civil War, they actually brought over all sorts of immigrants from other nations to fight in the war on behalf of the Union. They conscripted foreigners to fight to save the country.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a great point, though. And you're right. How do you feel about getting to the rants, man?
Yeah.
And we need an outro video, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if you have any ideas, or if anybody in the chat has any good ideas, let me clarify. I need good ideas.
Good ideas, yes.
First, actually, let me check if we got any Rumble Studio ads left we could do. And then, let's see. There's one for Wise Money Israel. No shit.
Wow.
The script. You love Israel. You stand with Israel. But did you know your portfolio can stand with Israel too? Who would read that?
Like, hey, thank you for all your heartfelt prayers and your social media posts. But also, can you give Israel your money? That's amazing.
When you invest in Israel companies, you're participating in the economy of the Jewish state, the innovation. For many believers, it's one of the most tangible ways to put faith into action. That's wild.
Old.
We're going to do the kids guide though instead.
Oh, I have a perfect outro video.
Okay, awesome. All right, parents, real talk for a second. America is about to hit a huge milestone. We're coming up on America's 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, grit, sacrifice, and the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen. This is the perfect moment to help your kids understand why this country matters. It's not just fireworks and hot dogs, although those are awesome, but the story behind it all. There's a free guide called The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday, and it's honestly a great way to introduce kids to how America began, who the founding fathers were, what they risked, and why the ideas they fought for still matter today. This guide sends kids back to the moment when brave men signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well they were risking their lives for freedom. It breaks it all the way down in a way kids can actually understand and enjoy without watering it down or turning it into boring schoolwork. If you care about raising kids who know where this country came from and why it's worth preserving, this is something you'll want to grab. And the best part, it's completely free with this special offer. You just need to pay $2 for shipping and handling. Just head to freeusabirthday.com. That's freeusabirthday.com. And the Kids Guide to America's 250th birthday for your kids can be yours today. America's story matters. Make sure the next generation knows it. All right. And then we got 1027JS over on Badlands media.tv/boost gave $20. Says, thanks, guys. Thank you, Joe, my fellow North Dakotan. Snowcat Operator gifted a subscription. He actually gifted 2 subscriptions. Thank you for those who do that. It's truly appreciated. We did have a new member over on YouTube, Naru Forest Partners. So shout out to you becoming a member. Thank you. Babbage3 says the complete belly button saga. And there's a YouTube link.
It's a saga?
Well, it's a 4-minute video of me on my show. I'm not going to put you guys through this, but I will post this in the chat again for you guys to watch. But it's me like freaking out over the belly button. We ended up we drew a picture on it. We did AI with it. We did the whole thing. It was great. What else we got? We got Chlorinovna. Love the show. This is for $40. Thank you so much. Love the show. DPH Saturdays, heads above. Thank you, guys. John, I'm shamelessly recommending beautiful Pinehurst as a future GART destination. Hoping everyone takes a minute to remember our fallen. Yeah. Memorial Day.
Indeed.
Coming up tomorrow. Or no, Monday. So yeah, we definitely do that. And thank you for the rant. And we'll definitely look into Pinehurst. True Deplorable for $10 says, in my opinion, Tulsi's reports will show everything she uncovered, which you already know and has already been referred to the DOJ. She leaves with a clean slate. And we'll still be waiting on the DOJ FBI. Thanks, guys. That's a good point.
Could be.
Snowcat Operator for $5 says, Anna Polina Luna. So we got to play the clip. And then $10 from Sakara City Patriot. Good to see you. Says, I'm sure you've already discussed this, but just in case, why would Trump invite Dan Qualley and Condoleezza Rice to Kevin Warsh's swearing-in ceremony?
That'd be Dan Quayle.
Oh, whatever.
Kevin Warsh was a staffer. I'm not sure if at the Fed, but during the Bush administration.
So, interesting.
I can look that up. I actually listened to Trump's speech and then an interview that Warsh did. Interesting guy. We don't need to get into that.
I think his first meeting with the Fed is like June 15th or something. Curious to see what happens with the rates. But other than that, the only other thing I'm really looking at is whether or not they're going to reopen the investigation into Powell. Because I think that'd be hilarious.
The one interesting thing, I think the key takeaway for me about Warsh was he was going in believing that the Fed can be fixed and still be force for good. And it's a good attitude, I suppose, but I'm not sure that everybody actually wants that. So maybe he's in one of these positions where the institution needs to be brought down and you give someone a last opportunity. And then a lot of people were upset with the nomination because of who his father-in-law is. I guess like some old Zionist banker or something. But I have no idea whether this guy is a good guy or a bad guy who's just under the cover of a good guy or whatever it is. But man, it's not like you're just hiring anybody off the street to operate that sort of system or to even be a go-between with all of the other parties involved. Again, it's like not the kind of thing where you can just eliminate the enemy all at once and then they're not like a problem anymore. This is like a considerable power that must be dealt with at all times. And I think that that's what Trump has been doing all this time. It's a negotiation. It's a push and pull. It is like a spectrum. We should be pulling our power away from that adversary. That doesn't mean that the adversary just disappears and goes away. So there's got to be some interface with that. And sometimes you need people who have a foot in both worlds to be able to handle that role.
Yeah.
They have to be trusted by the other side.
100% agree. Black Hat Destroyer left $25 says, thank you guys for a great Saturday night. As usual, Tulsi will prove that Chris was right all along. Everything is fake and gay.
Well, yeah, there's no way she's going to disprove it.
Yeah. And then Black Hat Destroyer is now a monthly supporter as well. So thank you so much for that. What's your outro video? Because Babbage
you in your Telegram. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, because Babbage sent over that link, like the outro of my show or whatever, 4-minute video, it's longer. I'm gonna do your outro video first and then that one for those who want to stick around and watch it.
Well, I was gonna say, so I have the one outro video. If you go to your Telegram, there's one that starts with a kid. That one's in color, and that's 1.5 minutes. The 4-minute and 7 one is absolutely hysterical. The first one's short and awesome. The second one is hysterical and maybe offensive to some people at the end, though it shouldn't be because it's not offensive. But
okay, so what we'll do, we're just gonna do a super bunch of outros here for you guys. So you're welcome. I'll play the short color one once this video saves for me, and then I'll do the video for my show from Babbage, and then we'll do the longer one. So we'll hit them all. I just gotta save these all in here quick. Oops, can't do that. All right, so let me see if these worked. Where did I save those? Once I confirm these work, then we'll say our goodbyes.
they always go to that weird Telegram downloads folder unless you unless you've set it up otherwise.
Yeah, I set it up otherwise. I just can't remember what folder I saved it. Just saved it in. Okay, it was Daily Herold. Come on. Hold for processing, guys. It's gone. Okay, I think I got it here. Perfect, got them both. Okay, so we'll start with this one, and then we'll, like I said, 3 videos in a row. If you guys won't choose to stick around, Chris, appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, hit that thumbs up here and on YouTube, and with that, we'll see you guys next time we see you.
Wait, so you're telling me in the future, people just stare at a little box all day?
And in the future, you don't even own the music, you just pay every month to borrow it? Like, if you stop paying, the music just disappears?
Wait, so before people eat, they take a picture of the food and show strangers? And the strangers like and comment on it? So in the future, everyone has their own phone and they use it to type messages instead of call? And if someone calls you without typing it first, it's considered rude? So you're telling me in the future people just post their diary for everyone to see?
Some people get paid for it.
For their diary? And in the future a little box just tells you where to go? Turn by turn? And people still get lost? If you want food from a restaurant, you just tap the box and a stranger brings it to your door, and you pay extra for that, and then you rate the stranger. Our moms always say don't talk to strangers. But in the future, everyone just talks to strangers all day on the little box and shows them their house and their kids. So in the future, nobody ever just sits with the quiet, like ever? That sounds really exhausting. In the future, everyone's connected to everything, and people are still lonely. Okay, but do we at least still stay outside until the streetlights come on?
That Phil Scarborough sent over here says, now President Trump is getting increasingly angry that the Senate Republicans have still not passed the Save America Act. What is that? Is that a guy? Or a pregnant woman with really manly hands? You see that? That belly button is insane.
I think the elections are so rigged, and we have to do something about it, and we're going to do something about it. But we cannot continue to have, and frankly, the Senate and the House, they ought to get together and they ought to pass the Save America Act so that you have voter ID, and it's so important you have proof of citizenship, little thing like proof of citizenship, and also mail-in voting, which is so crooked. So in Maryland, as you probably saw, they had 500.
I can't stop staring at this guy's belly button. Like, what an unfortunate, like, if you're going to go to the White House and you're not going to wear a coat jacket or something, like, how do you not recognize your belly? Is it just the camera angle? Is it the lighting? Is it the pleating on the shirt? That is insane. Is that a medical condition? It looks like, you know the movie Alien where the creature's like sticking out of the, like trying to push out of the chest? It looks like that's what's happening with his belly. I'm just blown away right now. I'm sorry, I have to start it over. I'm gonna not watch though, because I haven't listened to a single thing he said because I can't stop staring at this belly button. But I'm not gonna look at the screen anymore. I'm just gonna listen so I can comment on it.
I think the elections are so rigged, and we have to do something about it, and we're going to do something about it, but we cannot continue to.
It's mesmerizing though. I can't not look at it. Hold on, last time, promise.
I think the elections are so rigged, and we have to do something about it, and we're.
I cannot get over this belly button, guys. I've never seen anything like that before, except on a pregnant woman. I'm just blown away. Can we decode that belly button? We could certainly try. I mean, let's look at this thing again.
With 5.
Look at that thing. Wonder if I can. Is it herniated, you think? You know, if there's two like eyes there, it would almost look. No, what we need to do. We got to go into Canva. This will be worth it, I promise. Look at that. You get the whole face. With the nose, the eyes, the little mouth right here. You see what I'm saying? How do I draw? Mustache. Look at that thing. That was worth it. Well worth the time I took to do that. All right, back to you guys in the chat. Herniated and internal inflammation, maybe a heavy drinker with liver issues. An outie belly button means the doctor pulled too much before cutting. That outie should be checked out. I make it talk, John. How can I make it talk? I wonder if I can animate it. Take the image and make it. What do we want this thing to say?
Hydrate your elbows. Moisturize your soul with soft disclosure. Do it meo cacting dumpsack that womb.
What the heck?
Soft disclosure.
Wild. That was not very good. Oh my gosh. Look at this person. Shill777 updated their profile picture to be the belly button. That's so funny. Should we watch that again?
Hydrate your elbows. Moisturize your soul with soft disclosure. Do it meocacting dumbsack that womb. Soft disclosure.
I don't understand what was in there.
"1904, Miss Helen Keller graduated cum laude. That's dumb as hell. How you gonna study for a test on Monday when you're getting finger banged in the hand by a buddy?" Polly Thompson gave her hand signs, but in a two-man plane, and she's deaf and blind. How did Polly let her know it's her turn to fly? And I ain't the gay one for asking. That's a hell of a story, but it don't make sense how a deaf and dumb, blind retard bitch, German, Latin, Greek, and French, learned them all and can't talk for shit. Then she traveled the world, taking in the sights with no damn ears and fucked up eyes, writing another bestseller, using only taste and scent. Now I'm calling bullshit.
I know every step of the road you are taking. And I don't
Now old Stephen Hawking, that's quite a dude. Couldn't walk, talk, think, or chew, but he had a little theory about a big black hole. He said, that's a huge breakthrough for the boys in science. #1 bestseller, Sunday Times. This bumped up bastard can only grunt. We can say he said whatever we want. That's a hell of a story, but it don't make sense how a half-dead, paralyzed, retarded prick knew astrophysics, cosmology, quantum mechanics. Sounds gay to me. And now I'm soaring through the Milky Way, spinning on a fucking ball. There's a black hole gonna kill us all, 33.3 quadrillion light years away. And I'm not the one that's gay.
There is no God. No one created the universe, but no one directs our fate. There is probably no heaven, but no afterlife either.
Martin Luther King, that black son bitch, had himself a dream and it ended quick. Said if you protest peacefully, they could use the same shitter as you and me. Integration, it'll fix it all. Just show them roots and don't break the law. Bikes went missing when they found out fast as shit. Ain't nobody likes it. That's a hell of a story, but it just ain't right that a man with a dream can steal my bike. Ride down the street, pants round his knees, with his hat turned sideways, smoking weed. Now I'm looking on the front porch, tears in my eyes. Come help me, please. A nigger stole my bike. Cop said, son, now how do you know he's black? But I didn't call him black.
Yes!
No, never called the nigger black.
Oh my God, it's genius.
I just know that nigger was black.
Oh my God.
My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
Oh my God, this is great. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not even I'm like sharing it everywhere. Oh my God, that was funny. Ooh.